Thank you for subscribing to the channel. It's much appreciated. And for those of you that haven't subscribed yet, it would be much appreciated. Thank you. I have to excuse the voice today. I've had a bit of a bad cough and had my grandson over, which wasn't much fun for him, unfortunately, this last weekend. But what I want to talk to you about today is mistakes made when making colouring books. And there are a few. The first one I want to talk about is the framing. Now, what I mean by that is a lot of people will create a colouring page and they'll include full bleed to the page into their production, and so obviously it gets trimmed off and whatnot. But what happens is they end up with no border. Right, this is where it's important. And what I've done is I've just made the background square for this square image. It's just to give you an example. Now, when I drag this to 1/2 inch from the top and 1/2 inch from the edge, and 1/2 inch from that side, and 1/2 inch from that side. Now, if it's not perfectly square, just make sure that the narrowest margin is still 0.5, so 1/2 inch. I mean, that could be an inch at the bottom here, but don't go less than 1/2 inch. And that allows for the gutter, so nobody's messing about trying to colour in along the gutter edge of the book. And we look at that. I mean, it's a real spoiler. It's got to be fixed. So I choose a line. I've got 2 lines there. I've clicked. I zoom in and I adjust that so that it fits. It's a bit thick, so I'll go up here and change the line weight to, I'm going to go with let's try a 2. Pull it into position. Yeah, that's not so bad. So I'll copy this one, save messing about with the sizes, paste it, put it into the corner, drag it into position where it needs to be, and we'll zoom out. That's the way to complete your image, making sure that there's nothing without a border, nothing without a boundary, because it just wouldn't work as a colouring book, unfortunately. Like I say, if I just got rid of these lines and drag that right out to the edge, or even past if you wanted to. Again, you've got all this here with no boundary. I mean, a lot of people will fill the whole page with as much of an image as they can, like that. And it's absolutely diabolical because you've got all this here where you can't get your drawing. You can't draw up to the edge. You'll end up going over, maybe getting onto the next page or getting onto the tabletop. And if you're using felt tips or watercolours, you're just going to make a mess. It's no good. So keep it that 1/2 inch minimum all the way around and seal up these edges. Seal up any cuts like that. Next is your line thickness. The lines in here are really, I feel they're really too thick. Too many thin ones, too many thick ones, too many blackouts, basically, because the lines are too thick in some cases here. And it looks awful. Keep your lines nice and crisp, and I'll show you what I mean. Right, so there's the image there, and that looks much better. It's not big and clunky and chunky like that other thing. You know, that's just far too much. And if you wanted to put a border on that and put more objects in it, you can. So it's simply elements. Get it up there. Center back. Colour it white. Outline. And get it down to, it's quite thin, so I'll give it a 2. So I've still got a border there, and it still looks okay. Now I could put clouds in here, grass, other objects, all kinds of different things in here, and keep the line thickness the same. So don't have this page and then it going on to a chunky thick page like this, because it doesn't match the book. Keep the thicknesses the same. Another thing to consider is page numbers. Don't put page numbers on your pages. And avoid wording. I mean, you know it's a unicorn there, and children might not know it's a unicorn, or they might not know how to spell a unicorn, or what the word looks like. So you'd be tempted to put it in there. I wouldn't bother. A lot of the time, people and children, they like to colour the whole image in, tear the page out sometimes, and put it in a frame. Parents will do it. This was the first colouring page, and they'll put it on the wall. So don't add page numbering or anything else to spoil it. Be different. Don't copy winners. You know, you'll have seen loads of great books there, bestsellers, and you'll think, oh, well, if I do my cover the same, or close to it, if I do my interior the same or close to it, lots of reasons why they're number one. It might not just be the way everything's designed. It's not just that, it's wrong. You know, so create your own thing, come up with your own design, look at some of the designs on Amazon, and then just go, yeah, well, yeah, I can use a bit of that, and I can use a bit of that from different ones. I like that idea, and create a whole original image for your cover and for your interior. Try to use as many original ideas and images as you possibly can. Enjoy the process. If you're not enjoying it, there's no point in doing it, because it's not going to be as good as it could be. Leave it, shelve it for a little while, and go back to it and do something else in the meantime that you are going to enjoy. Because it's the same with any kind of book. If you're not getting into it, if it's a chore, it'll read like a chore. It'll be a chore for the reader, and it's never all for the user, if you like. If it's a colouring book, activity book, or whatever, it'll be a disaster. So it's got to be original. It's got to be you, and you've got to enjoy it, and that's making it original will be part of you enjoying it, because it's your idea. If writing or publishing is not for you, and you're just trying to do this, you know, just to get some money, and you're not enjoying the process at all, it may be time to consider something else altogether. Size matters. It really does. So go for an 8.5 by 11 inch. I'd say that as a minimum. Yeah, you can make travel colouring books and things like that, make them smaller, 6 by 9 even. But they don't do very well. And really, they're going to want space to draw. They're going to want to be able to open the book up, not fight with the pages. And the bigger the pages, and a bit of teasing of the pages, like I've shown you in how to prepare a book, is going to hold those pages open. It's going to be much better. So go for as big a size as you can. That will publish in as many regions as you can, because some sizes aren't published in some countries. But I think 8.5 by 11 inch is pretty standard. Your colouring book cover. Now, when it comes to designing that, big, bold images and colours are the way to go. And whether that's flashes, the graphics, stars, whatever it is, make them nice and bright. Now, if we look at some of these on Amazon, again, big letters, big images. This is lovely. This is a lovely cover. Big letters, easy images. But like I say, you want to do your own thing. Take some of these ideas and say, okay, well, I want my text to be nice and bright like that. But then don't do this at the bottom as well. Don't make your image look like their image. So what makes that such a great seller? Let's have a little look inside. Super simple images. They couldn't be any simpler, I don't think. A bit of information on the back is always a good idea. It drew my eye. It really did. But it's only got 2 reviews, and it's been out since June. It's now doing okay. More than okay. So let's just, I might take a little look at that in the future and see how it's doing. This is a professional setup here, and you can tell straight away. Nice bold colours, images. That's quite nice. I like that. Next, I want to talk about niches, categories, niching down. And I've said this in videos before, don't avoid the big niches like colouring books, colouring books for adults, colouring book for children. Keep them in. Choose them in your categories, but go for the extra 8 categories and look for the categories that are a little bit more obscure, but still related to your product. Don't ever, put a category in there that has nothing to do with your book. It's just horrible. It's awful. When you've got a book yourself and say it's ranked number 2 in a certain category, and it's up against a bestseller in the first place, that's not even related to the category it's supposed to. It's not nice, is it? So try and avoid doing that. So make sure you use all of your 10, your 8 extra and your 2. Don't avoid the big niches and the big categories, but use the other 8 for some obscure ones. Throw them all in there. And it's the same with your keywords. So I hope all that's helped, or will help. And there's probably lots of more things I could say about colouring books, but there's probably lots of things you could tell me where you've felt you've gone wrong on colouring books, and I'd like to hear them in the comments. And I'm wishing you luck.